Hello, welcome. My name is Manuel Leon and I am a digital marketing strategist. Welcome to my channel where you're going to learn anything and everything that you need to know to grow your online presence. Today, I'm going to give you the answer to the $1,000,000 questions. Well, I hope I do. At least I'm going to give you some of the most common reasons to why is it that your Facebook marketing campaign or your Facebook ad is not performing the way it's supposed to perform or the way that you were expecting it to perform. But first things first, make sure you subscribe to this channel by clicking the subscribe button, click the notification bell, comment in the comment box below, and share if you think this information is valuable for you or anybody else, or just for the fun of it. That's good too. Now let's get to business. Facebook advertising. A lot of us have gone through that instant gratification moment when we see that after putting a couple bucks on a Facebook post or an Instagram post, we get a message back saying, oh my god, your post reached 2,000 people, 3,000 people, and then you're like, oh my god, I'm so excited, 3,000 people saw my post, or 3,000 people or 10,000 people saw my ad. But then we felt immediately depressed when we realized that the fact that all those people look at our ad or were shown the ad did not convert, not even 1%. Or perhaps we just had a very little engagement compared to the amount of people and the amount of the impressions that Facebook generated for that ad. And then you might be wondering, what is it that I'm doing wrong? Well, I'm going to tell you 5 of the most common reasons of why your ad is not performing. And the first one, it's basically a purpose. Precisely that. It's the lack of purpose. It's the lack of a goal. And I've talked about this on previous videos. I'll make sure I leave a link in the description of a video that talks about how to choose your goals, specifically SMART goals. But the reality is that Facebook already gives you pre-constructed goals for your campaigns. They'll ask you as you start an ad, and I'm talking an actual ad from whether the ads manager or like the ads center, which is a much simpler version, but I'm not talking about just clicking promote post or boost post. I'm talking about actually setting up a campaign. And what happens is that Facebook will give you some options. They'll ask you whether you want to promote your page, your website, whether you want to create a forms for leads, whether you want people to message you on Facebook Messenger or get a code, whatever the call to action is. Most likely they'll have a pre-designed campaign goal in order for your ad set and for you to establish your entire ad. However, if you don't know what is it that you want exactly, if you are clicking the promote my Facebook page option and you're expecting that to become into conversions and getting more business, perhaps that's not going to be as effective because that's not really the goal that you set up on Facebook. Facebook is going to use that information to show your ad to the people that they think or that the algorithm thinks that are going to be more likely to fulfill that specific goal that you set up at the very beginning. So you have to be very clear on what precisely you want out of this campaign in order to choose the best route, the best funnel from Facebook and achieve the results that you want. And you will not be able to do that if you don't set up your SMART goals and your strategy first. Remember, without the strategy, you're just throwing things into the ceiling and hoping one of them sticks. And that's a reality. Now, the motive number 2 why your campaign might not be performing is because you're not respecting the 20% ratio. What does that mean? So Facebook has this rule that every ad needs to have a 20% ratio between the text and the image itself. Basically, your ad needs to be mostly visual and mostly images. That includes logos, includes slogans or copy, information that you want in the ad about your product or your service. Remember, you still have the caption to describe some more and to give extra information about what you're selling, whether it's a service or a product. But in the actual visual, you cannot pollute it, quote unquote pollute it, with too much text, because in some cases Facebook will not even run your ad, or even if they run it, they're not gonna show it as often or as to many people as you would want it to, because it's not respecting this rule. So you have to make sure you always stay within that 20%, and that the actual visual of your ad is mostly that, a visual, not a bunch of text. And a good example is logos. Logos usually might be very convoluted with text and information. You don't have to use your logo every single time for every single piece of marketing that you do online. You can use a symbol, you can do something that reference to your brand, but even so, if you don't use anything, it's okay, because remember, once someone sees that ad and they click to whatever call to action that you have set it up to, they're going to land somewhere where they'll realize who you are, whether that's a landing page, whether that's your website, whether that is the Facebook page of your business or your messenger to chat with you. Whatever it is, believe me, they'll know who you are. You don't have to have your logo in every single piece or photo of ad that you run on Facebook. And that's just a quick bonus recommendation, because I've seen that happening a lot, where people want their logo everywhere and they want it big and they want it to occupy a lot of space, and if their logo is very convoluted with text, Facebook will not necessarily run that ad, or it will not perform as good. Now, the third reason why your campaign might not be performing is audience and targeting. Facebook has become really good at helping the user making market segmentation. That means that you're able to choose your target audience very specifically, almost down to the T. You can choose geographical area, you can choose zip code, how much money they make, what's their relationship status, whether they are married, single, divorced. It's complicated. You can even choose the interest that this audience have. You might say, okay, I want people who like the Facebook page for, I don't know, roses, because I want to sell flowers. So anybody who liked the Facebook page about roses most likely will be interested in seeing my ad about my flower sale. So basically, Facebook gives you all the options. What Facebook does not give to you is the creativity and the knowledge to understand the market and to come up with a creative targeting strategy. They give you all the demographics and all the psychographics, but it's your job to come up with a creative way to choose the things that you need to choose in order to show your ad to the people that you wanted to show it. Now, if you're hiring an agency like us, for example, we will do that for you. Our job as an agency is to help our customers not only execute their campaigns, but also think strategically how we can target these campaigns. And the better targeted they are, the best results you're going to get. If you're not hiring an agency, make sure you do a crash course on Facebook target segmentation to understand how it works and to understand how you can use it to leverage your own campaign. Now, the fourth reason why your campaign might not be performing as ideally, it also has to do with the audience. And it might be something that is called audience overlapping. Sometimes a lot of people want to run more than one campaign and their audiences are very similar to each other. So Facebook will choose the ads that they think that perform better and show them, and they will suppress some of the other ads. So if you're running more than one campaign, if you have more than one audience, but they're both very similar, even if the difference is slight, you have to make sure you time your campaigns correctly, or at least that in the message, in the visual itself, you're really talking to the people that you wanted to talk. And that's pretty much the whole goal of doing market segmentation and targeting campaigns and anything in marketing and advertising. You need to understand who you are talking to so you can understand how you can sell to these people, whether it's a product or whether it's a service or whatever it is. You need to know who you're talking to. So that's the fourth reason. And the fifth and final reason is usually budget. I've seen people, like I said at the beginning, over budgeting, and I've seen people under budgeting. And neither of those it's good. Your budget will be determined obviously by your overall marketing budget within your company or how much you want to spend in general, but ideally it will be more determined by your goal and your target audience. If you have a very localized target audience, let's say just in one zip code, perhaps you don't need that much money. If you are selling something as wide as that you want the ad to show to an entire state or an entire country, you will obviously need more money. But basically think of it as money for gas. The more gas you have, the further you'll be able to drive your car. So it's the same, and with Facebook it's pretty much you get what you pay for. If you don't have enough budget, your campaign performance is not going to be good. And if you have a lot of budget but your targeting is wrong, then you're just going to be throwing money down the drain. That's why all these other steps that I mentioned needs to be checked out before you even get into the budget part. Now, Facebook does have sort of like a minimum. Like I said, there will be gurus online that will tell you, oh no, we'll make your campaign and you become a millionaire for just a couple bucks. And 99.99% of the time, that's not gonna work. It's not one size fits all. So I particularly always start campaigns with no less than $100, $150, depending on the target audience, depending on the goal, and the wide, the range of the campaign, specifically the geographical range or the type of audience. But you can start as little as $10 per campaign per day, and that will be determined also by the run of the campaign, whether you want to do it like 7 days, 15 days, 30 days, indefinitely, however it is. You can set up a total budget, or you can set up a specific budget per time per campaign. But I will not recommend to start with less than $10 a month, and $10 is sort of like on the low end. I will say $10 per campaign, I meant, it's sort of like on the low end per campaign per day. I will start with at least $100 or $150 per campaign for 7 to 10 days. So those are my tips. I would love to hear from you. What is it that you find most difficult about setting up your campaigns on Facebook? And if this video was helpful or not, make sure you tell me in the comments box below. Subscribe to this channel by clicking the subscribe button, click the notification bell, and see you in the next video. Bye.